Hey, what's poppin', everybody? Let's go ahead and recap yesterday because just about everything that could go wrong did go wrong for us yesterday. The lock of the day was OG Anunoby over 22.5 points. I said the only way that OG does not hit his line is if a plug-in starter, so role player comes into the game, has an absolute whale of a game, or he has a bad shooting night, and absolutely both those things happened. OG Anunoby started the game, I think, 0 for 5, got a free throw in there like early, but like other than that, I mean, he just absolutely had an awful shooting night. I think he ended up finishing the night like 6 for 19, and then I'm double checking real quick right now because I think shot the night 6 for 19, 1 for 7 or 1 for 6 from 3, and then the plug-in starter Banton had 27 points, and then off the bench Chris Boucher had 20 points. So 47 points between some role player guys that shouldn't have had as many points as they did, but they do. As a rough shooting night, like I said, that was the only way he wasn't gonna hit. Played the most minutes of any player on the court last night. Just didn't hit his shots. Didn't hit his shots, man. That's of course he didn't, but that's tough. And then next up we had John Collins under 6.5 boards. Finished with 9. Had 4 at the half. Hawks kind of destroyed the Bucks last night. And John Collins had a big game. I think he had like 16 and 9, if I'm not mistaken. I know he had 9 boards, but I think he had 16 points as well. So dominant performance there from John Collins in a game where I thought he was going to have a bad one. And then give me PJ Washington under 19.5 PRA was our last play of the day yesterday. I mean, what can you even say? The only explanation for PJ doing what he did last night is that somebody that watched this video or saw my tweets on Twitter, saw my Instagram stories, personally sent him a message and said, hey, this guy called Take My Shot is taking your under because he thinks you're trash. And yeah, he had 17 PRA in the first half. In the first 3 possessions for the Hornets yesterday on offense, he got the opening bucket. Then he took another shot in the next possession, grabbed his own offensive rebound, and then scored. So that was already 5 right off rip. And then he gets an assist to LaMelo Ball in the 3rd possession of the game. So that was 6 right off rip with the first 3 minutes of the game. Then he had 17 in the first half. Like, he's played he's counting yesterday, or I guess not counting yesterday. He's played the Magic 8 times in his career. He's gone over twice. I mean, all these numbers, like, these aren't bad plays. You know, when you go by the numbers, like obviously OG Anunoby, with nobody else on that team with all those injuries, was supposed to have a big night, just didn't have the big night. And then John Collins had 7 total rebounds versus the Bucks in 2 matchups this season. Then he grabbed 9 last night. And then PJ Washington, I mean, even without Paolo Banchero in the lineup, still put Mo Bamba on the floor a little bit more, and he still just got whatever he wanted, man. He had a season high in assists, a season high first half scoring, and grabbed a couple of rebounds. He just had his best. I don't know if I could even find a way to check this, but for him to have 17 PR in the first half, I don't know if he's ever had that this season. So just everything that could have gone wrong went wrong yesterday, and that's how it's going to go sometimes, because sometimes everything that could possibly go right goes right, and that's happened this year, and everything that could have gone wrong went wrong last night. So we got to get back on track here eventually. We can't keep missing like this. And so let's get to today's pick, guys. Real quick, if you guys are new to Underdog Fantasy, in the link down in the description below, I have a link that takes you straight to the App Store where you can download Underdog Fantasy, because you're going to want to hop in on the action this year. They have added a whole bunch of new features to Underdog Fantasy this year. Starting with the brand new insurance feature, okay? This insurance feature is a new thing that has been super requested for the fans and the customers of Underdog Fantasy. Essentially, all you do is you click insurance right here. And if you can see right there, all you have to do is hit 4 of these picks to win, but the value does drop down. So if you turn off the insurance, you do a $10 bet, you obviously get $200. And if you turn on the insurance feature, it drops down a multiplier down to 10. But if you miss one of these picks, say, you know, Jameis Winston gets hurt or something, he doesn't end up throwing 2 touchdown passes. But everybody else hits, like Lamar, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, and Justin Jefferson. All these guys hit. You still hit the slip. You just get it for $100. It just goes down a multiplier, which is a huge feature a lot of people have been asking for, so they received it. Also, they have added second half lines now to games. Obviously, it is on. There is nothing up because there's no NFL second half games, but they have added NFL second half. So just like for the Thursday night game, I'll throw up that clip right here. Thursday night, they dropped all the second half lines for that Thursday night game between the Bills and the Rams. They've added a bunch of new features this year. They're trying to improve to get the app better for you guys. Also, when you sign up, if you use code TAKEMYSHOT, you'll get $100 match, up to $100 match and 100% deposit match on your first time deposit. So if you do that, you can deposit $50, you get an extra $50, $20, you get an extra $20. Whole lot of stuff coming with Underdog Fantasy this year. Make sure you sign up with code TAKEMYSHOT. Now let's get to today's bets. All right, boys. Today's lock of the day will be coming from the Clippers versus Mavs game. We're gonna go ahead and go with not the star Luka, even though he's averaging 40 versus the Los Angeles Clippers last year. We're gonna go with Spencer Dinwiddie over 2.5 threes today versus the Los Angeles Clippers. On the year, Spencer Dinwiddie is averaging 3 made threes a game. He's hit his over in 9 out of 12 games, and the 3 games he didn't hit, he didn't make a 3, and then in 1 game he had 2. So 1 3 away, and then the other games he just had a bad shooting night. He's actually on a little bit of a heater as well right now. He's hit 5 out of his last 6, and the Clippers give up the 3rd most threes to shooting guards in the NBA. Starters on the year versus the Clippers are averaging 3 made threes a game, exactly 3. Spencer averages 3, the Clippers give up 3, his line is 3. Perfect matchup here as far as the numbers go. Starters versus the Clippers I've got over this total 8 out of 14 games. And the guys that didn't hit were guys like Edmund Sumner. Let's see, let me double check again real quick. Guys that just don't really shoot threes in general. Let me just double check here. Yeah, so Patrick Beverly, Edmund Sumner, Jalen Green. I guess he missed it by one night. Just guys that don't really shoot the 3 a whole lot are the guys that missed. So not going to be too worried about those guys that did hit versus the Clippers. Those are just guys that don't really shoot threes. But I'm loving this line for Spencer Dinwiddie. He's playing fantastic actually this season. I saw a thing the other day where it said that that it showed like the top 5 rated duos in the NBA, and Spencer Dinwiddie and Luka were like 3rd behind Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and like Giannis and Drew or something like that. They're up there. Spencer Dinwiddie's been balling. He's been shooting that 3 ball very well. Expect that to continue tonight versus the Los Angeles Clippers. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, let me double check real quick. This game sits at a 7.5 point spread, but I think this game is going to be a lot closer than it is. This just kind of turned into a rivalry between the Clippers and the Mavs. They've battled it a lot in the playoffs the last couple of years, so I expect this game to be closer than the books see it to be. So give me Spencer Dinwiddie over 2.5 threes tonight as our lock of the day. All right, next up, we're going to head over to the Jazz versus Knicks game. We're going to take Mike Conley tonight over 7.5 assists versus this New York Knicks team. Now, this Knicks team gives up a lot of assists to point guards this season. The average versus the Knicks for starting point guards versus them is sitting at 7.5. The average versus this Knicks team. That is a lot of assists, especially when a lot of these guys aren't really assist guys, and they play this Knicks team and they have a lot of assists. There was actually 4 guards that they played this season that actually had 7 on the dot. So 4 guys this season came up just an assist shy. Cade Cunningham, Trae Young, Tyrese Maxey, and Killian Hayes all had 7 assists, all coming up just an assist shy. When you're looking at the guys that didn't hit, 6 out of 13 point guards that they've played this season have gone over this line. When you're looking at the guys that didn't hit, like I just said, those 4 guys had 4. Those 4 guys had just 1 assist shy. The guys that didn't hit, Edmund Sumner. Edmund Sumner, obviously, is not a primary point guard for their offense. The guy that primarily handled the ball in that offense, which was Kevin Durant, he had 12 assists in that game. So obviously the primary ball handlers are having a lot of success. Drew Holiday didn't hit, but the primary ball handler in that offense, Giannis, he had 9 assists in that game. So they are feasting the guys that primarily handle the ball. And that's what Mike Conley does for this Jazz offense. He's the primary ball handler for their team. He's been on a little bit of a heater lately. He's been a guy I've been keeping my eye on. A lot of people have been betting on his line as well. I know for sure. He's averaging 8.1 assists on the season. Has gone over 9 out of 14 games. Has hit this line 4 straight times and 5 out of 6. He is having a very fantastic year to start the season, as well as this Jazz team entirely. He is the primary ball handler, obviously, for their offense. The only thing I don't really like about Mike Conley is that he only gets about 30 minutes per game. Makes a little bit of a sense because they have a little bit of a loaded backcourt with guys like Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, Malik Beasley. They got guys in there that they can rotate, so he doesn't get as much time as I'd like to see. I think he averages like 30 minutes per game on the season as a starting point guard. I'd love to see that line just to be a little bit higher. But this game, I think as well, should stay close. They have this game sitting, the Jazz are actually the favorite for the first time this season. Finally, after being the 1 seed in the West, they are finally the favorite at a 4.5 point spread. But I believe that game is the highest total of the night at 231, so expect a lot of buckets to be coming from that game. and Mike Conley to be the facilitator to a lot of those buckets. So give me Mike Conley today over 7.5 assists as our second play of the day. Okay, stick with me here. I'm going to plug in a little bit of a bonus pick here that I'm actually this close to playing tonight, and that I want to pair it up with Dinwiddie and Conley. We're going to head over to the NHL. We're going to head over to the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to head over to Mike Hoffman, over 2.0 shots. This man has been on a little bit of a heater. Three straight games he's scored a goal, but that's not what matters. What matters here, obviously, is that he's taken over 2.0 shots. He has hit this line 7 out of 8 games and hit it 5 straight games. His shot total right now is looking like 4, 3, 5, 3, 3. The one missed with 1, 4, and 5. He has been feasting this lately. The last couple of games here as Mike Hoffman for the Canadiens. Again, I did do hockey later in the year last year when they were in the playoffs. Had a little bit of success with hockey last year. This line came across my screen, and I'm really liking this Mike Hoffman line. I'm this close to plugging it in with Mike Conley and Spencer Dinwiddie, but I just want to plug this one into the video because I do think this one is a solid play tonight. And our last play of the day is going to be coming from the late game, also the closest slated game on the slate here tonight at a 1.5 point spread at a 226 total. We're going to take De'Aaron Fox today over 24.5 points. They've dropped his line a little bit, had a couple of games here in a row, not in a row, but had a couple of games where he's kind of gone a little bit lower than normal, at a 15-point game versus the Cleveland Cavaliers and a 22-point game versus the Warriors. He's going to be, with this game being so close as it's projected to be, I think De'Aaron Fox is going to be the primary ball handler, especially late in this game. If this game does stay close, in that Warriors game when he nearly hit his line, that game stayed close. He was taking the majority of the shots towards the end of the game. He was hitting the majority of the shots as well. Had 26 in their matchup last year, did De'Aaron Fox in February, so it was after the trade deadline when they did have Sabonis in the lineup and stuff like that. Kyrie was in that game, so the Nets did end up blowing out the Kings in that game last year, but he still managed to get 26 in a blowout. I think this game will be a lot closer between the Kings and the Nets this year. Nets struggling a little bit, and the Kings on the come up. Even though the Kings haven't been able to win games, they've been keeping games close for sure. So give me De'Aaron Fox tonight over 24.5 points. I just don't think they have a guy defensively on the Nets on the perimeter that can guard De'Aaron Fox. So give me De'Aaron Fox tonight over 24.5 points. Okay, which means it's time for the perfect 3-slip, which isn't officially made yet here. We do have the 2 picks that we are liking, which is Spencer Dinwiddie and Mike Conley over 7.5 assists and 2.5 threes. But you're gonna have to follow me on Twitter and Instagram to get that third official play that I'm wanting to put for the 3-slip. I'm locking Fox tonight, but I'm also loving Mike Hoffman. I know you guys probably think it's crazy because you're like, wow, I don't watch NHL. I keep my eye on it, I keep my eye on a lot of stuff. And I'm just this line feels like it's an automatic hit for me, so I'm gonna keep my eye on this Mike Hoffman line. I'm gonna kind of dwell over between Fox and Hoffman here to be our third play of the day. But Mike Conley and Spencer Dinwiddie will for sure be plays tonight. But you just have to stay tuned to see what the official 3-slip ends up being tonight. Or you can just go ahead and make it a 4-slip. You can throw in Fox and Hoffman and make it a 4-slip. But you're gonna have to stay tuned to get the official 3-slip for today. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up today's video. Just want to say thank you guys for sticking with me here. I know we have really good stretches sometimes and we have really bad stretches. Perfect example, just a week ago, at the beginning of last week, we were on an absolute heater, like a 11-2 run or whatever we ended up going on. And now we've had a couple of days in a row where we've kind of struggled. That's just kind of how the season goes. When you're sports betting, you're not going to win every single night. You're going to have bad stretches. You're going to have good stretches. You got to keep your eyes long term. Still up over 20 units this season. So we're still having a very successful season. Just need to put a day together here. We need to have a winning day. But keep your eyes long term. When you sports bet, you can't just think about every night independently. When you have good nights, it's the overnight rule. When you have bad nights, it's the overnight rule, which means you just got to sleep it off, whether it's a good night or a bad night. You got to just keep chugging along, keep plugging. Got to keep your eyes long term. With that being said, guys, thank you guys for sticking with me. Thank you guys for not ripping me in the comments or something like that. So with that being said, guys, I will catch you tomorrow. Peace.